Hey everybody, it's time to be in the kitchen again, and I've got quite a mess going on right now. I'm working on canning salsa. Excuse me, I'll be right back. And it's a little messy. So I just thought I would go through the last batch as I get it ready to put it in the jars. So I'm not sure where I'm at. So I'm putting all of it in this bin, this big stock pot. So I've got this one is done, ready to go. So the recipe I picked up on Pinterest, and it is some tomatoes. And where are they? Okay, so it's 2 cans of 14-ounce diced tomatoes. And pop those in there. And then it's onion. I can't remember how many. So, you know, it's one of those things, just find your own recipe that you really like and enjoy. So there's the onion, and then cilantro, which I haven't grown anything except for the cilantro in this batch of stuff. So it's kind of cool that I grew the cilantro. And then pressed garlic. It's been gone through a press, so it's really, really small. And then jalapenos. And the last time I did this recipe, my husband said it didn't have much spice to it. So this time, what I did was get some heat from the jalapenos themselves by cooking them a little bit. So then 4 tablespoons of lime juice. I didn't have any actual limes, so I'm using juice. And according to what I've read, it's about 2 tablespoons per lime. So that's why I'm going with 4 on there. Okay, and then we're gonna put it on the top on here and seal that on down. It's ready to go. Turn on the power and there we go. All right, release it and pop it in here. Now, since I'm doing several batches and I didn't want to have a billion bowls out here to separate it out, I think I'm doing 10 all together. I put the whole bunch in this pot, and then I'm just gonna cook it for just a couple of minutes so that it kind of blends all together, in case some of the ingredients weren't like exactly measured out. So that's just gonna do that for just a couple minutes, not long, just enough to kind of mix it all up. Then I'll be right back again. Moving stuff around. I'm having a busy day today. I'm also going to be doing blueberry pie filling and canning that. So I'm looking forward to doing that with you guys. I'll do that on another video, but I'll probably be looking the same as I do right now because I'll do that next. Okay, so I'm going to clean up just a touch. I'm saving the ends of my onions where the roots are, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stick those in the ground in my garden a little bit later today. So I'm going to spray down the counter a little bit. You know, like I'm going to be doing the blueberry pie mix next, and it's funny because I'm doing the salsa with the onions and the garlic and jalapeno. So we don't want to cross-contaminate that in any way. So we've got to be careful. All right. Excuse me. Okay, now move that out of the way, and we're going to start grabbing our jars that are in the water bath. We'll get these started here, and we're going to get this funnel in. So I guesstimated how many jars this will fill, and I'm going to find out if I'm right or close or really wrong. But I kind of guesstimated how many jars it would take. We'll see. How are you guys doing today? What have you been canning or making or creating or growing? I was just out in the backyard looking at the corn, and it's really tall. In fact, it's the best corn I've grown yet. I did move it from last year. Last year was a bad year. I didn't have very good corn at all. But I put it in an area that the ground needs a little more work for things to grow in. This year I put it where I felt like it had a better chance, and I used the hay to feed it. So I put, I kind of worked the ground just a little bit. I didn't dig it up or anything. I just added some dirt on top of the dirt that was already there that I've been putting rocks and different things on. And then I put the seeds in the dirt and covered it with a pile of hay. And it's really growing very well. I mean, my goodness, it's really growing. Okay, so like I said, it really didn't need long. I just wanted to make sure all the ingredients were mixed together. So now, next, we're gonna go ahead and transfer it in. And I don't want to make a huge mess, so I need to move this closer. And let's see if I guessed right, or if I have to get more jars or less jars. Let's look. And just to, leave a little headroom at the top. Anyhow, the corn is real tall. We've got some silk starting to come out of it in a lot of places. And I just learned that each one of those little pieces of silk is connected to a corn kernel on your cob. Isn't that amazing? I thought so, anyway. So this salsa is not chunky. This is just I would call it the restaurant style that we love here in New Mexico. It's just ground up pretty good. Now you can, not grind it that much if you don't want. And you can use fresh tomatoes. I just wanted to show you the cheat of, hey, we can do this ourselves, can it ourselves, but we don't have the products, at hand. Throughout the year, what I do with my garden, because I don't have, huge bunches of every plant, I collect stuff from the plant as it, produces, and I put it in the freezer because I can't harvest like a whole bunch to prepare for something. So, for example, when the tomatoes are doing well, we eat as many as we can to enjoy them. And then what we aren't consuming at the time, I put in big bags in the freezer. I don't even skin them or anything, just freeze them. And I learned that from a couple of other wonderful YouTuber homesteader farmers. And I can't really remember the names right at the moment, but you can search it on YouTube. And it's a great trick because, especially if you are a city farmer like myself, you're not going to harvest 50 tomatoes at a time or 100 or whatever. You don't have a big, huge space. I have pretty good tomatoes. I think I get a lot of tomatoes for my small patch, but not enough to really process a whole lot or to save for another year. So that's why I do that. I just, as they ripen, I stick them in a bag in the freezer, which is also handy because really, in the summer you're real busy taking care of the garden and also doing stuff like this, canning things, particularly fruits. But that's another thing you can freeze to do later too. So that's what I plan on doing with my, what did I just plant? Oh, the ground cherries, because I don't have, oh yeah, see, I underestimated. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some more jars. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna leave that, put that aside, and we'll just have fresh salsa later, because I have only enough room in the canner for this amount of jars. So we're just gonna go ahead and grab these, stick them over here on that towel. Towel too far away. We'll wipe down the rims in just a second. Grab this out of here. And then we'll stick them in the water bath, boiling for however long is required in your area. In mine, we are above 6,000 feet, and according to the government canning guidelines, it's 25 minutes for salsa. So that's what we'll be doing with this. And in the meantime, while that's doing that, I'll clean up and then start the blueberry stuff. And by the time I'm ready to can the blueberries, the salsa will be ready. So that's kind of handy. So I'm just gonna make you stay with me until I get these in the canner, and then later I'll let you know how it turned out, how it tastes. It smells really good, and I suppose I should have tasted it, but I haven't yet. Okay, got a couple stuck down there. Okay, let's see if I can get it. So the reason you have one of these racks that I was talking about last time, it's really just so it doesn't, nothing sits directly on the heat. You gotta have a little tiny room between the jar and the floor of your canner. It's the same principle when I do lotions and balms and things like that. Okay, now I'm gonna grab some vinegar. I don't know where my white vinegar went to. Where did I go do with that? Where did I put that? I don't know. We'll just use this vinegar. A little bit of water on a paper towel and a little bit of vinegar to wipe down the little lids. And then also there's a thing about pushing down air bubbles. And I've got a little thing here and I'll show you that. I just want to make sure the lid, the ring here, the jar ring is clean. Because we tend to drop things on stuff when we're working. Okay. And this is also clean. So just kind of push it down. I don't see any air bubbles I don't see any right now. They look pretty good. All right. You go ahead and do that again since I did that. Got stuff on it. Okay, so next we're gonna go ahead and grab the little magnet thing and pop the lids on. Thought there were two on that one for some reason. Yes, I am rather scattered. Just seems to be my way. I've decided that's just who I am. Sometimes you just gotta accept things about yourself. That's all. All right, got that. Now, the other thing I don't think I mentioned last time is when you close it up, you don't want to make it super tight. Just enough so it's closed. Not too If you feel like you got it too tight, then just unscrew it a second and then go back so it doesn't be too tight, not too tight. There we go. Almost have 10 jars. Now, the prep time was probably 45 minutes before you came along. Did before you got here. So, because, chopping up tomatoes, not tomatoes, those were in the cans. Onions, collecting the cilantro, cleaning them up, making the garlic, putting the garlic in the garlic press, and then taking the ribs and seeds out of the jalapenos, chopping them just a little bit, and then cooking them just a little bit to give them a little heat, a little spice, and then popping it into the blender. That all took about 45 minutes, and then I did that last batch with you guys. Okay. Having a hard time sitting down in there. Come on, you can do it. You did it. Awesome. Okay. So I've got 10 in there. And make sure that comes back up to boiling. And it already is. Not quite. So I'm going to put the top on it for just a second so that it'll come back up to boiling. And then I'll set the timer. And there you go. I know that was a little bit chaotic. But kind of fun. I mean, I like making salsa. It's kind of fun. It's, putting it all together. My husband eats a lot of it. And my goodness, just so, purchasing your canned tomatoes aren't too expensive, and all the other stuff isn't very expensive. So it saves a lot of money making my own. And it doesn't take a huge amount of time, but it does take an afternoon to get that done. So now I'm going to go away and I'm going to make everything cleaned, and then I'll be back and we'll do the blueberry stuff. I'm very excited about the blueberry stuff. Okay, see you later.